do you
Sorry.
have? I said this isn't about sharing stories. This is about asking questions. So does your story come with a question?
Yeah, yes, please.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Um, wow, that's tough now. Um, so what can I do if I had a child with someone? We didn't have like that strong relationship, like together. Then we had a child.
Mm-hmm.
After having a child, I didn't know by the time I traveled to Europe. Then when I came to Europe, I came to know that I'm pregnant.
Mm.
Then I had that child. After having that child, I didn't take away like I didn't take away like him being the father of that child. I made him part of his child, but I'm not into him. And for him, he say he loves me too much, which I don't feel. And I feel like I'm stuck inside there. I don't feel happy. I'm raising a child. My baby is okay, but I myself, I feel I'm going to depression. I'm not happy because that's not what I planned for myself.
Okay. What is your question?
So the question is, what can I do? I feel guilt telling him, I don't feel that way the way you feel. We are having a child together, but I would want to move. I want my own peace. I want joy. I want to find a person I really love deeply, but I can't say it. He gave me that thing of, you can't do that. You have to wait for me, no matter what time. So what can I do to be open?
What can you do to be open? Open to what?
Like, be able to tell him that this is my life. I want to move. I want to be happy.
You want to move where?
Sorry?
You want to move where?
Like, I want to find someone I love. Like, I want to feel safe. I want also to feel like this is the person I love, not like I'm there because you love me.
Okay. I hear you. So, I mean, what is your question? How to tell him that?
Like, how can I be open? I tell him, you know what? I don't love you. We have a child, but it doesn't mean that I have to stick there.
Okay. How long have you been dating this person?
There is no time. It's like it's now 2 years me being separated with him because me I came to Europe in 2023. Then I left him. So my child is 2 years. He has never seen the child or anything. But we dated like a month. Then I didn't know that I was pregnant by that time when I came here.
You say he hasn't seen the child before?
He has never
What?
because he's back home and me I'm here.
Where is here?
He's in Africa and I'm here in Germany.
You're in Germany?
Yeah.
Okay. So you dated him in Africa, got pregnant, and then went to
Yeah.
Germany, and then when you got to Germany, you found out you were pregnant. Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Um, and you can't like you're having problems telling him that you don't want to be with him.
Yeah, he gives me that guilt. He's like, you pay for the time I waited for you. Like, I have to help him. He comes here, like, he come here in Europe. Like, he gave me that guilt, you bad person. Like, that guilt of, you're so bad.
Okay. He's guilting you for wanting to leave him.
To leave him or to, like, taking his child, but I'm not doing that because I shared with you. I share photos. I make you part of your child. I give you all the rights, you know.
Okay. So there's no magical solution here. You just have to tell him, right? Like, there's I don't know what you are looking for, but you just have to communicate. Like, what is the problem? I mean, I get that he's guilt tripping you. I understand that,
Yeah,
but
like when I try to communicate or bring how I feel or talk about my feelings, he reacts so fast. Like he becomes so angry right away,
Right.
and he's off on the phone. Like you are a bad person. Like he brings that out.
Well, yeah, you're going to get that. You have to prepare for that. What was when you moved to Germany? What was the plan? Were you still planning on being with him?
I'm sorry, I did not have any plan with him. I moved and I wanted to move on. That's when I came to know that I was pregnant.
Okay, so you had no intention of being with him for real.
Nah,
Okay.
nah.
All right. Well, you just have to let him know, love. Like I don't really. You don't need to go and talk about how you feel. Just let him know what the situation is.
Yeah. Because I literally take care of my child alone. I do everything alone. Like I don't get all child support or something. But he want me to be there. I wait until he gets the visa, then he comes. So I'm just in the middle, being unhappy, taking care of my child, and he's like, wait.
Okay. Well, I also have to let you know this. When you have children, it's not about you anymore.
True.
Right? That's the big problem that we have. People they start having kids and they're talking about their happiness. Fuck your happiness at this point, right? When you have children, it's not about you anymore. It's about you can still be happy while having kids, but like you're not the main character anymore,
True.
right?
Yes, I considered that. Then I gave him support so that he can come here for 2 years, and it failed. I got tired. I'm a human. I got tired. I invested, and it's not working.
Right.
Because I told myself, yeah, the child has come. Let my child have her father. Then I tried to invest. I tried for him to come. It didn't work out. I wasn't selfish.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad to see that you
Yeah.
attempted that. Why did that fail though?
It's not that easy to
Okay.
just get a visa from Africa to Germany. It's not
Gotcha.
that easy. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, in this situation, you just have to tell him, and you have to find a way to work it out. If he isn't willing to work with you, then you just have to wash your hands of the situation, right? You have to be like, listen, this is like a logistical conversation at this point. We're not together. It's been 2 years. We're obviously not together. I do want you to be in your child's life. How can we work that out, right? And if he starts getting emotional and yelling, like you just hang up.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to hang up. If you start guilt tripping and all the other, I'm just not going to talk to you. So if you want to see your child and have be in your child's life, then you have to talk to me like an adult.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, love. I wish you the best. Okay.
Thank you so much.
That's rough. Having a baby 1 month in though. Wow. Ay ay ay. Ay ay ay. 1 month. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. That's so sad. I don't like people that manipulate others and guilt them. I mean, you gotta look at both sides. You know someone had your child, right? Like, I get it though. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. My question is for you. First of all, thank you, and I like your advice. I hear you sometimes when I get time. But today I have a question. I have one of the guy I met like last summer. We have just business conversation. And after that, I think he changed his mind. He takes me like, I say like, sweetheart, hi baby, good morning, my sunshine, we keep texting back and forth like friend. And then we start kissing each other 2 months ago. But he doesn't say nothing to me. I did not say anything. So I just wanted to make sure where we are at, and he also, I invite him like in my house. He came. He has like dinner. Just have normal conversation with him, and he left. We never said anything about the future relationship or anything. So some of my friends advised me like to ask him, but I said no, I cannot ask before he asks me anything. So I just want advice from you. Um, if I have to ask or I have to wait for him to say about the future relationship.
I don't really know what we're talking about here. I didn't catch most of that. What is the problem?
Oh, the problem. I mean, I said we have been knowing each other like maybe 4 or 5 months now. We have a good conversation, a good relationship, and we text each other like boyfriend, girlfriend, like hi baby, hi good morning sweetheart, sunshine, something like that kind of words. But
Right.
like we've been like 4 months now, and we kiss each other like after 2 months having conversation, but we never ever discuss about our future, if he's looking for a serious relationship with me or.
Okay. So he hasn't like made things official, and it's been 5 months.
Yes, and so my friend was advised me if I have like I can ask him like what is he looking for, so about like our relationship, but I did not. I don't want to ask him like before he approached me and asked me like if he want the relationship or not.
Gotcha. And how frequently do y'all see one another?
Usually we see each other like every Saturday, like for 3 hours. We
Okay.
can meet.
Okay. How did y'all meet?
We meet in some restaurants or some classic place. Like we don't go to like club or anything else, but we just go to restaurant, eat a dinner.
No. How did y'all meet originally?
We meet. One of my friend, she told me that he want like get married. So why you don't talk to him? Then she gave me his phone number. That's how we met.
Okay, so you met through a friend, and he doesn't talk about the future at all.
Yeah, no.
Okay. All right. You're seeing him once a week, and it's about 5 months in. Are y'all long
So
distance?
he came one night. I invited him to my house.
Okay.
So he came. He had a dinner with me, and then so my dad lived with me in my house. We had a good time, good conversation. He left, and then the next morning we just text each other. You just like have a conversation. I don't know, but he just keeps telling me like he liked me, and he had like takes me with the good words, like I don't know that. I don't know. He never mentioned he's looking for the serious relationship or not.
Gotcha. I mean, you've certainly gotten to the point where it's like it's time to bring it up. Like 5 months in, I normally tell women that guys typically know within the first 3 months of dating you. It doesn't take us long. So
Okay.
so yeah, I mean, I would say it's probably time to bring it up. Like not any pressure, but start prodding around and seeing exactly what is he looking for. Is he looking for something to be serious? Because that should have organically come up by now in conversation.
Okay.
Like, what do y'all talk
Okay.
about when y'all are talking?
Sorry.
What do y'all even talk about when y'all like talk on the phone and
We
go on
most
dates?
of the time we talk about like business. So I have my own business. So he does some consultation. He does a lot of like tax return or anything else. So I usually talk to him about business.
Okay, all right. Y'all gotta have a bit more finesse with this shit. Like you have to like 5 months of dating and there not being any kind of conversation around like what the future holds and what people are looking for. Like, I gotta start bringing this stuff up without making it like a super heavy emotional conversation, but just like kind of like weave that into what you're already talking about, right? So it's 5 months in. Like you could have did that, month one, month two. Just like, yeah, I could see myself like having a few kids in the future, and maybe living like in a suburban area. What about you? Right? That's just bringing it organically up in the conversation, and then you gauge the response. Oh, is he standoffish? Is he trying to very quickly change the subject? Like, what's going on? Right? You gotta have more social skills. I think this is a big flaw I see a lot of people is that we're just not good at talking with people. And it's a constant theme I see in people who call in. It's like, I wish I could just enter y'all's bodies and talk for you because half of this is just say it. Just say it one sentence while you're amongst the 1,000 other sentences you're saying to the person. Have one sentence that kind of reveals how the person is orienting themselves in the connection, right? This is 5 months. There's a lot of conversations y'all have for y'all to not ever have talked about any kind of relationship stuff. So right now it feels like it's a friendship, right? Because we're just talking about business.
Yeah, but we know when we text each other, he always mentioned that for like when you mention for your boyfriend or girlfriend like sweetheart, good morning my baby, honey, sunshine, he uses that word frequently. And then he sent me also the picture, that the emoji like was kissing, hugging, something, that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I don't know where he's at. And I as I mentioned, I have my own business, my house. So he might feel like if he asked me like he think like because of I have this and that. That's why I was feeling myself maybe to ask him, some means if the woman has some kind of, capitals, they can, afford, the bills. They might like afraid of like asking a relationship. I don't know, some friend told me that he might afraid of you
That's
because
not
you
you
have
don't have to you don't
everything.
have to worry about any of that. You get all the clarity you need by just having a conversation. There's no need to like assume where he stands. Just
Okay.
have the
Okay.
conversation, and then the conversation will tell you everything you need to know. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right, love. Best of luck to you.
All right. Thank you.
I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna work out. 5 months in and there's no mention. I don't like it. I don't like it. CJ, don't think I didn't just see what you said to Hannah in the chat. It's okay to like things, brother. You saying Drake dropped uh three albums of Cheeks? You're wildin'. You're wildin'. Wildin'. Hard. Heavy cope. Heavy cope. Alright, what other calls we got? Yo.
We spoke, I think, like 2 days ago. I don't know if you remember my situation.
No.
My girlfriend recently moved to Gainesville, and like we became distance from each other emotionally and stuff like that. You told me to pretty much just let her do her own thing, and then she'll like naturally come back.
Say that one more time because your audio's coming in real low.
One minute. Hold on. You had told me basically to like give her her own space and let her come back, and like because she's an avoidant, so you basically told me to leave her alone and let her have her own space and stuff like that.
Okay, I think I remember the situation. Okay.
So she's supposed to come down today for my graduation that I have tomorrow, and she had FaceTimed me last night, and we had a really big talk. Because obviously, like, what's been happening needed to be addressed before we just see each other in person. And I did something I inadvertently made her feel like unappreciated and things like that in the relationship. So that's what caused her to start to push away. And after we talked, we basically said that this weekend we're going to use to reconnect and then we're both gonna take a week-long break to work on ourselves because we both kind of need it. And then after that, we're gonna find a way to like spend like a week with each other or something like that.
Okay.
So, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't really
Like,
nice.
do you see anything wrong with taking breaks or no?
Taking breaks.
Yeah, like because we're gonna take a week-long break from each other after this weekend, to just kind of recollect ourselves, and I just wanted to get your opinion on that.
Like a break from the relationship.
Pretty much.
No, I don't like breaks for relationships.
Okay.
It means there's a problem. Like you can. How frequently are y'all like talking?
Before she started getting distant, or now?
Both.
Before she was distant, it was very, very frequent. And then
Like how frequent? Like give me an idea.
like when I would get out of school, we would be FaceTiming probably for the rest of the night, or like on the weekend, we would just like be chill and just be FaceTiming most of the day. So stuff like that.
Okay. All right.
And then since it's been distant, we would have probably like 2 or 3 conversations a day.
That's too much connection, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know why I told you first, but you gotta have a life, bro. You're talking about you get out of school and you FaceTime for the rest of the day. That's too much. That's just too much connection.
That's another reason why we were wanting to take the break, is because we both know that I kind of lost myself, so I'm gonna take this break this week to just spend it with my friends and like doing what I like to do and stuff like that.
Right. I just don't like the phrasing of break. I don't like that. It's
I didn't like the term either. I may, when she comes here today, talk to her and just be like, hey, like, I may just mention, can we not really call it a break? And it's just like, can we just be okay with not talking? Or like, can we like just word it differently? I don't know.
okay. You said that when y'all talked that she said she felt underappreciated.
Yes.
In what way?
There's a lot to it, but having to bring up things to me multiple times, which I admit like that was my fault.
Like what?
We got a dog together, and there was like multiple times where like she would have to constantly remind me to do something with him, and just like little things like that, but she never told me, so the emotions kind of bottled up inside of her.
How does you not doing something with the dog make her feel unappreciated?
What was that?
How does you not doing something with the dog make her feel unappreciated?
Because she was constantly having to do things for the dog and stuff.
And y'all a long distance?
Not at the time.
Okay.
I do think this kind of messed with our relationship. She had to stay at my house for like a month and a half due to housing like things. Before she went to Gainesville.
Okay.
So,
Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, you can't really not do it now. So you can take the break and then just let her kind of come back to you. You said after this weekend. It's not looking great just because she's already complaining about small shit,
yeah.
which is a deactivating strategy for avoidantly attached people. That's them. They start to fault find. You have to build a life, though. Like
Yeah.
that's what like damn the relationship. Like this y'all being this young, it's likely not going to work out. We'll see. Fingers crossed. But you're 18, right? How old are you?
18.
Yeah, you're 18. Okay. So we hope it works out, but like you're 18. All right. So give her the space, give her the break. But my emphasis is on positioning you so that you have better outcomes in the future. You have to build a life for yourself. You can no longer be on FaceTime with your lady all day long.
Yeah.
Even someone who loves you will get sick of you. There's too much you to experience.
Hmm.
And then you just find more things to complain about with them, more things you don't like, more red flags, more things to make you more anxious. Right? Just you gotta have a life. You gotta have other connections, not romantic, but just platonic connections, activities you're engaging in, a purpose that you're pursuing outside of your relationship. Because right now you just put way too much pressure on it. Way too much
Yeah.
pressure. Okay? So regardless of how this works out, that's the lesson that you should extract from this. Um, do the break. That's fine. But I would let her initiate the coming back together conversation. I wouldn't ask any questions. So you shouldn't be
All
waiting
right.
for the clock to strike 12 on like the seventh day. Like, all right, I'm gonna text her now. We ready to get back together? No,
Yeah.
you don't lead that charge at all. Just give her the space. Since she's the one who wanted it, she needs to be the person to come back and reestablish it.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right, brother. You take care.
Thank you.
He may not have the strength to do that yet. Like when I talk to anxiously attached dudes, it always makes sense in their heads. Like, yeah, it makes sense. And then they get activated and they do the opposite of what I told them to do. Like, don't be mad at me, bro. Like, what? I tested her. I'm like, oh my God, man. Can't stop yourself, huh? Can't help yourself. He's young. He has time. Yeah, for him, he's 18. I'll forgive him. But I have like 30-year-olds who do the same shit. And I'm like, you got to do better, bro. With him, I completely expect him to still test Shorty. He'll never see her again. I don't know. She's not like super avoidant. From like the first conversation, she's like moderately avoidant. So advice for anxiously attached men is to step back and prioritize your own life. That's advice for anxiously attached people in general. You gotta stop putting so much pressure on the connection. It's too much. You cannot make another person your everything. It's too much pressure. Way too much pressure. Anxiously attached people are experienced as just being too much in general. They're like an energy drain because they complain a lot, right? They need a lot of you. They read into everything, and it's like especially like the anxiously attached people who are extreme with it. Some are not so extreme. Some are moderate, and some have like real high capacity. So they're still anxiously attached. They still have that fear, but it's not manifesting as them like just wanting you 24/7 and complaining about you 24/7 and finding problems 24/7. She's over him. Okay, we gotta look at this from an attachment style perspective. Oh, I missed it. It's about avoidant, right? Too young to take it serious. Breaks are just a soft launch to a breakup. Normally, that's normally how it goes. Shouldn't we all be focusing on our lives regardless? Well, people who are probably not anxious are already doing that, so it's a redundant point to make. She destroyed my hoodie for a little altercation. What do I do? If she's what did you do something to get her to that place? But regardless, like people destroying your stuff in the relationship, it is now toxic. All right, can I get your info on private coaching? Yeah. All you got to do, this icon right here, there's a button that looks like that at the bottom of the screen. Hit that, shoot me a message. I'll ask you about your situation. And if I can help you, I will send you a link to book your call, your 1 hour coaching call. I know a lot of people, I've talked to y'all in the DMs, a lot of people are on the fence. A lot of people have said they're going to buy. Prices are going up at the beginning of next month. So if you're waffling on it, I would get it now if you can, because prices across the board are going up. So if you want coaching and you want it at its current price, I would get it now. When I raise the price, I will not be lowering it again. Okay? All right. She's been apologizing and said she was on her period. That's not a good excuse. Nope. That would make me angrier. Saying you're on your period is why you destroyed something of mine. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. I don't think I'm overly anxious because I've never really been attached apart from one guy who I love, but I understand he needs space and cares for me too, but it's so confusing. Okay. Yeah, you don't sound like you're overly anxious. Because it's a spectrum, right? Like I have a client right now who's an anxious guy. And I talked to him again today actually. He's not super anxious. Um, Even like when I was anxiously attached, like when I would read about anxious attachment, I'm like, that don't sound like me. Like I'm not. If you tell me you're going somewhere, I assume you're doing exactly what you said you're doing, right? If you say you're going to a store, like some anxiously attached people, you tell them you're going somewhere, they're like, okay, it takes 10 minutes to get there. He said he was going there for milk. It takes 5 minutes. So why has he been going for 40 minutes? What is he doing, right? Never been me. But some anxiously attached people are like that. Some anxiously attached people read into everything that you say. Every little thing that you say. I remember I was dating this fearful avoidant, and like she was starting to lean into the connection a bit more because she started to get a bit more like physical, like touching me a lot. She was like very physically affectionate, and she finally like unleashed it. She was holding it back, and she unleashed it, and she was being very physically affectionate. We were in the car. This was during the winter, and it got kind of chilly. So I kind of like my body reacted to like the cold, and she was like, "What happened? You just shifted." I was like, "What?" She's like, "Your energy just shifted. What happened?" I was like, "It just got kind of cold. Is that okay?" Like, I just got a little cold. Is that all right with you? Nothing shifted. There's not a problem here. But now I'm kind of concerned. Y'all ever seen that movie Misery when she broke Buddy's ankles? That was the vibe I got. I was like, all right, let's chill out. All right, shiver me timbers. I can't shiver a little bit. They're reading the thing because here's the thing with like anxious attachment. Here's the sneaky shit with anxious attachment, right? Here's the sneaky thing about it. And all my anxious attachers are going to know this is true immediately when I say it. The sneaky thing about anxious attachment is you're normally right. You're normally correct. When you notice shit, a tone change, behavioral change, you're normally right. It's a blessing and a curse because here's the thing. You're right about 75% of the time. But then there's like a 25% chance where it's like you're not accurate. And that 25% is what fucks you up. You can even say 85%, like Keita just said. But then if that's the case, it's that 15% that really fucks you up. Because you're right so frequently that you think you can't be wrong. And that's when you get fucked up. Because it's like, you are. Because nobody is omniscient. Nobody is infallible, right? You're going to come to the wrong conclusions sometimes. But you're so often right that it creates the conditions where it's like, oh, well, I can't be wrong about the things I observed. And it's like, that ain't the case. I've certainly been wrong before. All right. HSK, what's going on? HSK, are you there? Okay. She must have mean to come up. But yeah, it's that you're right so consistently that you're like, okay, well then if I notice something, then it's guaranteed that I'm accurate with this. And it's like, All it takes is that one time wrong and too intense to lose a secure person. Right. Right. because you're going to come into that conflict with certainty, and that's going to push the person away. We're intuitive, but not communicating enough. Hold it in. Some anxious attachers hold it in. Others don't. Like the way my anxiety work, I ain't hold shit in. We're gonna talk about this immediately. Immediately, we're talking about this. Immediately, right? But then some, I would say most anxious attachers have like the fight response, right? It's the fight, like you're going to address it. But then there's some who have the fawn response. I had a woman client who fawned, right? So she was conflict avoidant. So she would just make herself the problem and then just appease the guy who she was with, which led to her being married for like 20 years to a guy who she didn't want to be married to. And I was like, these connections just always work with men because you force them to work by being too agreeable. I never had that response. We gonna fight is what we're gonna do. You should start a Patreon for what? I had one for men before. I might have one. I might make one for women. We'll see. But I had one for men and nobody joined. So I was like, fuck this shit. That was the first thing I launched, actually, was a Patreon community. Best way to deal and heal from fear of abandonment. That's a real deep subject matter, big dog. If you really want the best way to heal, you should book a coaching call. 1 hour coaching call. This icon right here, hit that button at the bottom of the screen, shoot me a DM. I'll ask you about your situation. If I can help you, I will send you a link to book your call, okay? Remember, prices are going up the beginning of next month, maybe the end of this month. So I will get on that if I were you. Can an anxious person make avoidant anxious? No, typically, but you can see both styles flip, but it's like a last resort. So if an anxious person gets to their wit's end, they can default to deactivation, which means they move more like an avoidant in that relationship. If an avoidant person gets to their wit's end, they can start to be like anxious. And one typically triggers the other. So the anxious person is with the avoidant. They try so hard to make things work, and then they're just like, fuck it. And then they just deactivate. And they become cold and distant. The avoidant person picks up on that, and then they respond kind of by chasing, like an anxious person would. I gotta think before I talk and make myself look crazy. Right. Is fawn or flight for me as a fearful avoidant? Okay. I feel it's specific to you and your situation. Yeah, there's a lot of nuance. For sure. I want answers. I have no patience. Like, what are we doing? What are you feeling? Do you want me? Right. But you got to work on that. Especially nowadays, you have to be able to tolerate like ambiguity, especially anxious attachers. You have to be able to tolerate ambiguity. I was up here a while ago saying that that's like a trigger for me still, ambiguity. I'm much better at it now than I used to be. But you got to tolerate it. That builds capacity. Because what happens is you feel anxious, and then you feel like anxious people just want to know. That's why you notice things and read situations so well, because you learned as a child that if you just could read the room, read the energy, you can anticipate things, right? So that's a survival strategy for you. Is I need to anticipate what's going to happen to avoid pain, right? So you just start getting real good at reading situations, reading people, reading tone, reading energy, reading behavior. And having that certainty eases your anxiety, right? So you kind of condition yourself to like regulate by having clarity. But sometimes you won't have clarity. And forcing someone else to give you clarity can push them away, especially when it's too early. Do you want me or not? What are we right now? And it's like, this is the third date. Like, whoa, calm down. Relax. You know, you got to be able to handle ambiguity. You have to. Like, be okay with not knowing. That's like your growth phase. There's a book called like What Got You Here Won't Get You There. That tendency to read the room and get certainty certainly helps you for a season of your life. Now, the next thing that's going to help you in your next phase is being able to tolerate not having that certainty. What to do if she likes you but doesn't trust you because of her past relationship? You have to provide. So she's a stage 2 woman. So if she doesn't trust you because of past relationships, she's projecting that wound onto you. So every little thing you do that may even slightly imply that you're similar to the people from her past, she's just going to throw that shit onto you now. Only way out of it is consistent evidence built up over time of the contrary. So you behave in a way that contradicts her fear. And you aren't trying to convince her verbally, though. That doesn't work. You can't convince them verbally. You have to convince them behaviorally. Grand gestures and shit like that isn't going to work in this situation. You just have to stack micro evidence behaviorally in a way that contradicts her fear. Over time, enough evidence will be stacked up that she just will naturally get to a place. It will create too much cognitive dissonance, right? Like, she'll have too much evidence that goes against the belief that she has. And then, assuming she has the capacity, she may begin to trust you. But it's more of a long-term game. You can't talk yourself out of it. You can't verbally convince her. You just have to show her over time that you're not the same. What if you were just born nosy? I told you, Super. I told you like to do things for the plot just to see what's going to happen. It's funny you fought me on that when I told you that. Now you're basically admitting it, saying you were just born nosy. That's why you were with Buddy called in with your friend. You were nosy about their situation. We finally have found coherence because we both agree on that. I got nothing from him and he said he was confused. Okay. Uncertainty is terrifying, but you got to have faith. Facts. Clip that. Timestamp it, express. Grew up in an abusive and toxic household and you get really good at reading people and appeasing. Right. Well, I just learned about anxious attachment style. You're spot on right now. I tend to be spot on. Tend to be. How can you, whoa. Don't backtrack now, Super. Don't backtrack now. What was I? Okay. How can you differentiate between the ambiguity from non-interest? Time. You let time do its thing. Observe patterns. What to do when an avoidant partner never wants to address things, always delays. The trick with avoidant people is you have to give them space. Two magic phrases with avoidantly attached people. No pressure, no rush. Two magical phrases with avoidant people are no pressure and no rush. You got something you want to talk about? You can mention it. Let me know when you want to talk about that. but no rush. That no rush is doing a lot of the heavy lifting, because forcing them to talk right now makes them feel kind of ambushed, and it makes them feel anxiety. That's why anxious and avoidant people tend to be terrible for each other, because the way that you make your anxiety go away gives them anxiety. So it's like there's a transference of anxiety. So you've observed something, it makes you anxious. Now you want to talk about it, because talking about it will give you clarity, which will make your anxiety go away. But making them talk about it right now makes them anxious. So the way that you make yourself feel better is what you do to make them feel worse. What's a relationship called that isn't the traditional submissive slash dominant framework? I would call that a depolarized relationship. You have to have polarity in your relationship. You two cannot play the same role. If you play the same role, you will become depolarized and you will feel like roommates. When people say things like opposites attract, they're speaking about polarity, right? Polarity is predicated upon asymmetry. People are playing different roles. There's a leader, there's a follower. There's an observer, there's the observed, right? There's a provider, there's a receiver, right? So it doesn't have to be super traditional, but there does need to be asymmetry within the connection somewhere. If we take that 50-50 mindset, where we're just contributing the same thing to the relationship as one another, that's going to become depolarized very quickly. It's some shit that makes sense on paper, but in practice, it's terrible for relationships. Tips for dealing with fearful avoidant boyfriend discard after finding out he cheated emotionally and confronted. I would say move on. What do you mean dealing with? What is your goal? So he cheated on you. You confronted him about it, and then he broke up with you. You have some self-esteem work to do there. Hello. Hello. All right, no more calls, mods. If you feel uncertain due to a lack of intention, is it okay to move on, or are you just anxious? How was the lack of intention manifesting? How does the no rush not equate to enabling their avoidance, making it worse? No, it's not enabling their avoidance. It is making them feel safe, right? Now, if they never come back, you're dealing with an avoidant that has low capacity. You can be with an avoidant who has moderate capacity or high capacity. You can't be with a low capacity avoidant, just like you can't be with a low capacity anxious person. Both of them people are going to drive you nuts. A low capacity avoidant is just going to keep running. A low capacity anxious person is going to be fucking annoying. Can't do it. You cannot do it. Like, you use the word enabling. That would be like reassuring an anxious person is enabling them. To flip what you just said. I'm okay with talking about it in the moment, but in the past I've gotten dumb responses in the moment. Okay. Talking about the roles is important. Right. So I'll wait till that. Do avoidance care when you let them go without drama? It depends on the person. He's judging me for having cats because he is allergic. Is it okay to prioritize the cats? I mean, this might be incompatibility, love. Like, play this out. right? Like he's allergic to cats. You have cats. Y'all get married. He has to be around cats. That's like Mr. Peanut dating a woman with a peanut allergy. Like it's probably not gonna work. Can a relationship be rekindled after not seeing him for 30 years? If he's still living, sure. Why have you not seen him for 30 years? What's that about? Have you been pining for this person this whole time? 30 years? My avoidance started to decrease communication, so I kindly exited the relationship. Okay, nothing wrong with that. I like how with avoidantly attached people, they always call people like they're avoidant. My avoidant? Like you don't hear it the other way around. Like my anxious person. Yes, y'all, you can date avoidantly attached people, man. It's just they need to have higher capacity. Avoidant people ain't no worse than anxious people. They're both. It's just you're swapping one problem for another one. Anxiously attached people and avoidantly attached people both are draining for different reasons, right? So the avoidantly attached person is draining because you're spending so much energy trying to figure them out. The anxiously attached person is draining because they need so much reassurance. You got to keep talking them off the cliff. You talk them off the cliff, they come back, and then you turn your head for a moment and you go back there on the cliff again. Fuck. Okay. You got to talk them off the cliff again. And then, like, you get them off the cliff. You're like, all right, we're good. You're like, we're good. And you turn your head again. Again, they're on the cliff again, threatening to jump. Like, Jesus Christ. Right? That's draining. Constantly trying to get them off the cliff. So they're both draining, just for different reasons. And you can make both work. They just need to have higher capacity. A higher capacity anxious person is going to be less draining. Right? A higher capacity avoidant is also going to be less draining. Like, what's the alternative to date secure people? Good luck finding one. Good luck finding a secure person who's single. They typically are in relationships. And secure people, like that doesn't mean that they are attractive either. It just means they don't have the fears that an anxious person has and an avoidant person has. It doesn't mean they're just like great people to be in relationships with now. They just don't have the fears that manifest into behaviors in relationships. It doesn't mean that a secure person is just like the best person now. In fact, here's a special thing. This is why y'all should get y'all coaching call. Because if you are an insecurely attached person and you work to security, I would prefer you. I would prefer an anxious person or an avoidant who worked on becoming secure more than I would just to get a secure person. Because there's a superpower with anxiously attached people, there's a superpower with fearful avoidance, and there's a superpower with avoidantly attached people. When they become more secure, they keep the superpower. They just have more tools in their toolbox now. Like an anxious person is going to love you like no other. They're going to love you very well. It's just in excess because of their anxious attachment. Now they work to security, they still keep that increased capacity to love. They still have that. It's just now they have other tools in their tool belt. The avoidant person can compartmentalize really well, right? They can be more independent. They can probably add a lot of excitement to your life. That's why people like avoidantly attached people, right? They are interesting people typically. And once they become more secure, they still keep that essence. right? Fearful avoidant people are really good, like I said, historically, at attuning to you. Nobody knows you better than a fearful avoidant partner, right? And knows what your needs are than a fearful avoidant partner. And then once they heal, they oftentimes are the best people to have relationships with. So if you have any kind of insecure attachment, don't look at it as like a super negative thing. It's a good thing if you work on healing it. Would you date an anxiously attached person? Do you have the patience or too much? No, I could date an anxiously attached person for sure. They just have to have at least moderate capacity. I can't date a low capacity anxiously attached. If every time we talk you're bringing up a problem, I can't date you. That's a low capacity anxious person. If every time we talk there's like another issue, no, can't do it. Can't do it. But I've never even dated anyone like that, to be honest with you. I just know it's a thing. But I've never dated someone who like every time we engage they were complaining about something. But I know people do date people like that. And I'm like, I don't know how you do it. It will eventually, I've talked you off the cliff so much that now we're both on the fucking cliff. We're both up here. Now we're holding hands. Romeo and Juliet. We're going to jump together because I can't do this no more. I'm now on the cliff with you because you're driving me crazy. As a secure person, there have been a couple of men that's brought up my anxious a little. Yeah, that's a good point because nobody's really perfectly secure. You typically have some leaning. Do you think a relationship where a woman is too comfortable telling her man what to do is okay? It depends. It sounds like the woman likes control, and I don't. I'm not attracted to women like that. What exactly is the disorganized avoidant? It's not. It's just called disorganized attachment. It's called disorganized attachment or fearful avoidant. It's just someone who has both anxious attachment and avoidant attachment simultaneously. They tend to be the most difficult people to deal with, and they hate that about themselves usually. How long should an avoidant avoid their partner for the relationship to remain healthy? I don't really get what you're asking me, to be honest. I can't date someone always in conflict with people, not sure if that's an attachment issue. In conflict with like other people? Yeah, that person sounds insufferable. Sounds like they're asking how long is too long. It just depends. Okay, so the way that I determine if somebody is low capacity, moderate capacity, or high capacity is how long it takes them to return to the connection to regulate. Right. A high capacity person is not going to leave at all. They're going to stay engaged even if it's uncomfortable, and they might be essentially secure. To be honest with you. A moderate capacity person, they're going to take 24 to 72 hours to regulate, and then they're going to return to their connection. If they're taking longer than 20, so if you do what I said before, like you have conflict with an avoidant person, and you bring up the issue, and you say, we could talk about this when you're ready, no rush, and they don't return and have that conversation within 24 to 72 hours, mm-mm, mm-mm. Might as well go ahead and cut it. You shouldn't need that long to regulate. At a certain point, it just becomes like pure avoidance of the uncomfort of they can't handle the tension that comes along with it. My God, love bombed so well. Now we're divorcing. Yeah, y'all gotta stop falling for love bombing. Y'all gotta stop falling for it. Dealing with an avoidant now. It's been over 3 months. He's been distancing himself since February. How have you been responding to him distancing himself? Are you chasing? Wait, I'm dealing with an avoidant now. It's been over 3 months. He's been distancing himself since February. How does that math work? Where's the 3 months coming from? I'm confused. Because we're in May. So has he been distancing himself since you met him? Is that what you're saying? Is it a red flag when my girlfriend says she hates waiting on things, but when it's the other way around, it's okay? Give me an example. What if they just sweep it under the rug? Then yeah, that's not someone you can work with. Trying to talk and he goes, "Why are you crying?" and just puts music on and ignores me. Yeah, the tears make it uncomfortable. Why are you crying? Like, what's going on? He won't answer my calls, text every now and then saying he has to. I'm still confused about the timeline, Janet. I'm still confused about the timeline. So you got to tell me about the timeline so that I can help you. But it sounds like you need to go ahead and drop this. Because, like, you're asking him to be more consistent. Do you think he doesn't know that? He's aware. He's aware. Since he's been distancing himself, have you given him any space? Or are you just constantly reaching out? Because if you say he's not answering your calls, like, how many times have you called him? Are you calling him daily, thinking that today's the magical day he's going to answer the phone? No, I don't call him usually. Okay, so you're reaching out to him. Stop reaching out entirely. Just stop doing that. Right now, you're carrying the connection and you are preventing him from investing into the dynamic because you keep trying to lead it. Just stop all communication. You can respond to him, but stop reaching out. If you stop reaching out and you don't hear from him within 3 days, then just end the connection. All right, last minute questions before I get out of here. No questions? Cool. All right. If you're new here, make sure to follow. I'll be live again tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want your 1 hour coaching call, this icon right here, hit that at the bottom of the screen, shoot me a message. I'll ask you about your situation. If I can help you, I will send you a link to book your 1 hour coaching call. Again, prices are going up the end of this month / beginning of next month. So make sure to get that if you want it. All right. Appreciate the mods. Appreciate the chat. I will see you all tonight. Y'all take care. All right, YouTube.